All right, guys, the lesson here is asking questions so that your client sells you on the particular concept that you're asking them about or the overall arching sale. So in this case, I enlist the client's help where I'm like, help me out with something and you'll see what happens. And I really want you to be patient and listen to everything he says. He goes on for something like 5 minutes on answering my question. And he's just loading bullets in my gun, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And because I sell sales training, I can actually tell him what I did after, which you're going to find very interesting. But the point is, guys, is that I can't say it enough. It's not just about asking questions, right? I mean, at this point, you know to do that, but it's also about knowing when you need to enlist the client's help as a way to help sell your product or service. So you'll see exactly what I did tactically and strategically, and you'll see exactly how to do this. So I want you to really go granular with asking questions and just know that this is going to fall into the category of enlisting the client's help, where it's almost like, and most of you are too young, but for those of you that aren't, it's the old Columbo, where help me out with something, and those of you that know the show will know. But anyway, I don't want to get off track with a show, but enlist the client's help, ask questions, be patient, and really listen to their answer, and they'll load your gun with bullets and help you sell. And whether you're in person or on the phone, write down their answers, or if you can't do it in person, and actually you can because they don't know what you're doing, they'll think you're just taking notes on what they're saying, which will make them feel more important. Write down what they're saying so that you can circle back around in a few minutes and fire it back, or later in your sales cycle if it's a lot longer. So anyway, enjoy. Let's get right to it. The learning never stops.
With your guy, this new person, if you want him to be 3, 4, 5 times effective, this is the way to do it, by loading them up with sales skills so that he's prepared. He knows all the nuances, because even if business is going to fall in his lap, that's fine, and you have to help me out with this because we don't speak to many nonprofits, but obviously, when I'm speaking to a for-profit company, it's, hey, we don't want to leave your money on the table, kind of thing. So can you help me out? What's the advantage to having more revenue with a nonprofit? Maybe I can take this as a moment to learn for a second.
Sure. No, that's fine. I mean, it's always the same thing. Money, or more money in the door always solves a lot of problems. So as an example, right now, if I was like saying, hey, if I have more revenue, I can hire more dedicated people for the chapters that we have. So right now, because we're a nonprofit organization, each of those cities that you see on our map are ran. So usually there is just a chapter president, and there will be what we call a research or audit officer. They're the one that kind of handles managing the volunteers and things of that nature that we have. If I had more revenue, I could pay those people not necessarily a living wage because that they're going to be there, because it's not meant to be a full-time job, but I can certainly go and make it more lucrative for them, to where it doesn't feel like you're working for a charity. And then the other part too is being able to pay our auditors instead of having them be volunteers, because right now the only reimbursement that any of our inspectors get is almost universally mileage, but it's given at the IRS rate, which is not like that 60 cents or whatever it is a mile. It's like 19 or 20 cents. And if they have to do any travel outside of their area, if we need them, if I've got people that are in Dallas and we have some type of a project or whatever that we need to do over in San Antonio, Obviously, just say, hey, you're going to drive all day, drive all the way back, and you get mileage. We need to provide them with housing. And then the other side of it is again the way that we're set up on a chapter level, and really our chapters are what really determines our growth in terms of our appeal to other companies that are out there. But when we are looking at like our chapters, I've actually got 5 chapters that we haven't been able to go and turn on because we require them to have to go out and do their own fundraising to make sure that they can kind of self-sustain. If I have more revenue coming in the door from more customers, more corporate clients and everything of that nature, what that gives us is that gets rid of me having to tell anybody that's interested in becoming part of our Hafsa family in terms of at the chapter level. I get rid of that. I get rid of that impediment, that block. And when I can get rid of that, then it opens up the door. And then, again, more revenue allows us to do more educational pieces. Our number one driver is education. When we're able to explain to people, hey, here's the world of halal and how it can be so different from so many different groups, and here's why we're way over here and why we're your best option. When we're able to talk to Muslims and non-Muslims about this, it's always something that helps us to drive ourselves. So that's what revenue gives me. That's what revenue gives me, and it gives me an advantage over the for-profit people who, quite frankly, they're sitting around, they're taking their checks in, they're not doing outbound calls, they're not doing anything. I know I have an opportunity to strike hard and fast, and literally grab market share from everybody else that's just sitting around with their thumbs up their butts going like, no, I'll get it done when I want to. So, it's kind of there. I know we have that. And so now it's just trying to figure out how to make that kind of work, but anyway.
Gotcha. So Bobby, you just saw, we teach influencing with integrity. I think that's very important right?
Absolutely.
But you just saw a very simple sales technique in action right now, and you probably didn't realize it happened. But I asked you a question of what more revenue would mean to you, which in what we teach is this thing called neural, right? And you proceeded to sell yourself. And what salespeople tend to do is show up and throw up, and we call it vomit all over the customer and give this dog and pony show. But little simple things like asking the customer questions, what would more revenue mean to you? You just went on and you gave me all kinds of things. It would mean this and that, and you gave me tactically, just now I want to ask you another question.